Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to do a showcase of one of the best pitchers of the 1960s. He actually led the league in wins for the entire 60s with 191, and that is the Dominican Dandy Juan Marichal. So I'm going to showcase some of his player cards. I've got a pretty good run of his stuff, starting with this 1961 Topps. And as I've been going through my collection, the thing that impressed me the most about my collection with Juan Marichal is just the quality of it, right? Started collecting his stuff maybe 2012, 2013, and I've been able to pick up a really nice run of his stuff. Here's his 61 Topps stamp. 72, they did a more colorful stamp. I've got a couple of those here, an excellent 6. Then I have it as they were created here in the panel. Just a VGX6, but cool to see it in its panel form as well. His second year card, 1962, a very nice near mint 7. It's a very sharp card, really clean. And I definitely wouldn't build it to this high a grade today, but fortunately when I started collecting it back in the days, things were much more affordable. I believe this is his first post serial card. He didn't have one in 61. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Colorful card. Then his 63. Another colorful card here. It's some very nice portrait shots of him. The little circle. Hard to believe, what is it, 23? That card is 60 years old. Yeesh. Good shape. And then another of his post serial cards, the hand cut. Sticking with that portrait theme of his, the 64. Got some of the league leaders cards here. He shared a couple Hall of Famers on this card. You got Sandy Koufax and Warren Spahn. Picked this one up a little bit later. It's still got really good eye appeal for this. The top's real sharp on these cards here. Really good shape for an excellent 6. Here's a card I really like. I believe this is one of the short prints from the 64 stand-up. But man, a 1964 stand-up and a near mint 7, really tough because of the colored edges on these corners. Back is clean too. It's the blank cardboard back, but what a colorful Marichal. Call him the Dominican Dandy, because obviously he's from the Dominican Republic. This is nice Wheaties stamp. Using that same image from 64 Topps, I believe. Almost all this stuff is portrait shots until we get to some 70s imagery. Here he is in 65. I'll always love the 65 Giants cards because they use the purple and then the yellow. And then the red Giants logo, it just really pops on the card. And once again, a very clean, well-centered 65 Marichal. It's a little bit higher grade than the 8. The league leaders for pitching. Not an expensive card because he shares it with Ray Sadecki and then L. Jackson. L. Jackson was it Larry? Doesn't say on the back. Onto some of the mid-60s here, the 66 Topps. Like the green and yellow on that. Topps shows another portrait shot of Juan. Then a leaders card he shares with a guy you might have heard of, another Koufax card. Then Vern Law. Sticking with 66 here. This is his rub-off. Here is it face front, and then the back side it's got a little bit more color to it. But a cool rub-off. Man, I miss buying cards from 7, 8 years ago when I could just buy this stuff all day. I mean, it was more a matter of being patient and waiting for the cards to pop up. But you could buy things much more affordable price. Another Koufax, Cuellar, and then Juan Marichal here for this ERA leaders in 66. Here's a really beautiful 67. Once again, Topps sticking with those portrait themes with Juan Marichal. And looking back now, the quality of this run of Marischal is just, I'm really glad that I was able to build this a run of his this quality, right? And then looking at some of these 6th series here, one shows the ear and one doesn't. That's because one of these was produced in the 5th series to preview the 6th, and then when the 6th came out, they once again put another card in the 6th series with a slighter variation. So you can see the head is just a little different, but both cool cards. Tops, what do you think they're going to do in 68? Another portrait. He's got a great smile, though. Flash on that glove. The old Juan Marischal. This is a very nice 7 as well. Good centering on this run. All right, here we go. Once again, same with the 67 series. He had 2 checklists. One with the tan wide mesh and one with the finer mesh. One previewing, one first series, one second. So what do you think they're going to do in 1969? How about a portrait shot of Juan? One card I'm not showing because it's with my McCovey collection. It's with him and McCovey both in that 69. Got that on a near mint to mint 8. One of my favorite cards from the 60s. I didn't have time to pull it out of the McCovey collection. And then there's Topps Deckle Edge. A little off center on that, but that's not uncommon. These are tough grades. All right, here's a tough food and beverage card. This came off the back of Nabisco's TM Flakes from 1969. Number 7. It says hand cut. Then his 69 Major League photo stamp, also hand cut. Let me know if you're a fan of the Dominican Dandy. There's a little bit more, a better action shot there from the Globe Imports. And we're on into the 70s when Marischal's career is kind of fading a little bit, right? He's not quite the dominant pitcher he was, but still hanging in there. 1970 Topps, really tough centering on those. But still a clean card. And they've got the All-Star cards from that 70 set. Busted out of the Sporting News newspaper. Oh, here's a pretty nice graded card. It's got 4 Hall of Fame pitchers on there. Seaver, Necro, Fergie Jenkins, and the Dominican Dandy himself. Kellogg's card, the first year Kellogg put those cards out, that 3D imagery. Cool card. And the very tough 1971 black border. I've got this card really roughed up, and another raw variation, so it's cool to see it in a really clean near mint to mint 7, or just me near mint 7. Then the Dell team stamp coming up next. Here's where they get to be a little more interesting here. The 72 regular. It's a different style action pose, like that Giants team logo, very 70s, if you will, with the stars and the kind of Art Deco pop out of you 3D Giants logo. And then, oh man, the beautiful 72 in action. It shows that patented high leg kick of Juan Marischal. First time Topps kind of immortalizes it on a card. And it's like, whoa, what took you so long? And then his Kellogg's from 72. '72 Milton Bradley. This is perforated, so these are tough grades. No logo on the hat, so not very imaginative. And then one of his best base cards here. At least I like it. Kind of an action piece, if you will. 73. He's pitching to somebody that's in the Expos, maybe. How about the tops? And I got this O-Pee-Chee as well. I don't know why that's a 5. That O-Pee-Chee is packed fresh. It's got that rough wire cut. They used to cut these O-Pee-Chee cards with a wire, not a blade, I believe. And so sometimes they have that frayed edge. But this card is just in excellent condition. It could be that, you know, some of the edges is what's holding us back, but they were really tough on that card with the 5. But hey, I paid nothing for it, hardly anything, so I'm not gonna complain. And then let's wrap up his regular run. Another high leg kick card from the 74 top set. That's great, great shot. And then his traded card, back to the old portrait for old time's sake. Traded to Boston. I don't know if he has any cards in Boston uniforms. Tops didn't put any out. Let's look at a little bit of oddball stuff here. How about this 1970 top scratch off? I mean, the card is packed fresh. When they're saying it's a 4, I don't know if it's because this in the back. I just don't know. I don't know how they grade these. But a very difficult card to get a high grade on. Here's an interesting piece, the Star Promotions. Let me pull that back for you so you can see it's got a near mint 7 grade to it. Star Promotion. I don't have the ability to just show it very well. These next two are the Topps pinup from 67. I'll take a back look and then I'll show you kind of where you can see the grade of it. This one's an excellent 5. You can see kind of the condition of it. It's got the natural folds because obviously it was folded up and put into a pack. I won 2 of these at the same time. In all honesty, I think sometimes this 4 looks better than the 5. It's just got a blank back. You can see my reflection there. Cool. Oversized pieces. Probably cost me more to ship than it did to buy. The actual item. All right, let's do, as we're wrapping this up, some of the PSA graded oddball stuff. This is a lot of junket coin. There's one without jersey buttons, a variation. You need to get that. Then on to his 64. This is his regular 64. And then I also have the All-Star coin from the same year. All right, then the 69 Major League Player Association pin. This is kind of a small little pin. I don't know how these were distributed. But these 69 as well, the Kelly's potato chips. So in bags of Kelly's potato chips, you could get this pin. It says Kelly's and zip on it. It's much larger than the Player Association pin, although it uses the same image. A little bit cleaner. I was really excited to get that one. And then the last thing, I'll wrap it up with this 1971 Topps coin of Juan Marichal. Kind of got a brass coin, but got a nice color image on the front. It's got a little bit of information on the back as well. But that is it. 14 minutes in, my Dominican Dandy Juan Marichal collection. Once again, I appreciate your posts, your comments, and I'll talk to you again soon.